my heart sank. The breath was knocked from my body as the shadow crumbled. My heart still lies within its shattered skeleton.
When the giants fell, my heart soared. The flames represented the pride in my soul. When the dust came, I realized that this was forever, and I felt the terrifying silence.
I did this for my country.
They did this out of fear.
I will never see my father again.
My Baba will live on as a hero. They drove us to this.
What did we do to deserve this?
I did this for my family.
Do you have to go?
You know I do. I'm doing this for us. It's my
To
job.
provide. I know. It's just, New York is so far away. I know it could lead to promotion, but
No buts. We need this. We've been living on a shoestring budget for too long. It's about time I did something to fix it.
We've been fine. I've told you that. Besides, we're happy here. Isn't that what's important? Money isn't everything, you know?
We'll be happy in New York. I know we've been fine, but I also know that I can do more. Please, allow me to do this one thing for our family. I'll be able to provide more for you and for Susie.
Fine. You're right.
Well, I better be going.
Don't forget to say goodbye to Susie before you go.
Please do not do this.
I must. This is my duty to my people, my family, and Allah.
This is me you're talking to. You don't act some daddy. Save your speeches for your people. Think about me. What will I do after?
If I do this, you will live out your life with pride. I will be a hero. You will be able to live out your
I
life knowing.
don't want a hero. I want your care. What good is a hero that leaves me have a person?
What good am I here if I don't serve our people? If I don't do this, we will become outcasts not only from our people but from Allah.
Your God, your people, that's all you ever talk about. What about me? What about our daughter? Did Allah not give you us? Did he give you to simply have it?
Nah! I know my duty and you know yours. Don't make this any harder.
At least say goodbye to it, Mana.
Daddy, please don't go. Why do you have to leave me?
It's just a business trip. I'll only be gone for a few days. I'll bring you back something nice.
But Daddy, I need...
I'm sorry, but no. Remember what I've said while I'm gone.
I know. I'm in charge of the house and I have to look after Mommy.
If you look up way in the sky, in an hour or two maybe, you'll see my plane. Then I'll look way down at you and wave.
Daddy, nobody can see that far.
No matter what, daddies can always see that far. I'll always know what's happening to you. I'll always be here to protect you.
I love you.
Love you too, kiddo.
Why do you have to leave?
I have to leave for you and your mother. Sometimes people have to leave in order to do what's right.
But Baba, isn't it right for you to be here with me and Mom?
Yes, but they need to protect you. I will do everything in my power to protect you. It hurts me to leave, but I must.
Where are you going?
Amana, it does not matter where I am going. All that matters is that I will always be with you. Whenever you feel the cool desert wind at night, or feel the warmth of the sun, you will know I am with you.
What will happen to us?
You will protect your mother. And one day when you are old enough to make decisions for yourself, you will make them with pride and honor as I have.
I love you, Baba.
I love you too, Amana.
And the fires blazed.
The smoke engulfed the road.
The confusion enveloped our minds.
Fear and hope filled our hearts.
The world stopped and listened.
And the noise was deafening when the giants fell.
When I came to America, I did what was asked and what was required. I thought many things as I took my cool, calculated actions that led to my demise. I was standing in the terminal watching a child with her parents. For a brief moment, I questioned myself. But then her father gave me a look. I felt the judgment. His look said everything. Later in the plains, as the giants grew closer, I hardly more to think to myself. I heard the voice of my wife and child ask why. And I began to wonder myself. Do I want to do this for a country I love? Do I want to kill people to save my country? Do I want to serve a God that would demand a sacrifice? I felt a hot tear roll down my cheek and I held my breath and hoped I was not wrong.
The screams, terror, and pain of my death were blotted out with one question. Why? As I lay within the stomach of a fallen giant, I asked myself, why? Why did I choose money over the happiness of my family? Why did I not realize the grace and beauty of my wife before I left? Why did I not take the time to hold my child a moment longer? Then my heart turned from the why to hate. Hate for the people who did this to me. Hate for my own ignorance that brought me to this end. Hate for my government for not seeing the signs. And that is how I died, a quiet victim with a heart of hate.
I sit in a small room, alone and frightened. I realized that everything that held my life together was gone in an instant. We called it a cause, a revolution, a religion. But what we created was a monster. We may have seen two giants fall, but we failed to see the sleeping one we had awoken. I felt as though I had awoken from a dream into the nightmare of fear. The country we did this for could not protect us. No one could.
The dark, empty crater where the giants once stood spoke to me. I understand its wide gulf, smoldering ashes, and dark heart. You know, they say forgiveness is divine. Unfortunately, I am not. I am full of hate. I am full of rage. I look into the eyes of my child, and all that I can see are the twisted remains of my husband. I rage against shadows and strangers, and I feel something in my heart that has never existed before. Pure, unadulterated hate.
We watched and saw. We saw death, saw the hate, saw the burning, saw the fear. Our lives were forever changed by an act that we could not control. But we saw something else as well. We saw men reaching to those in need. We saw concern from strangers. We saw people overcome and thrive. The future is unknown and has been drastically changed. It is up to us the lessons we learn. Do we hate or do we love? Do we fight for the cause or do we fight for humanity? Do we prize money or our families? Do we seek revenge or do we practice forgiveness? What does it mean to live in a world where the giants fell?
Cries of why reached my ears and pierced my heart like a million sharpened knives. I watched the chaos and the terror and wept. Then silence. Then one single clear voice pierced the silence.
Why?
It's all part of the plan.
Why? Why would you rip him away from me?
One day you will understand.
No, I don't want to understand one day. I want to understand now.
Sometimes man needs to learn a lesson. Lessons can be painful. They can separate you from the ones you love, but they still must be learned.
But I did nothing. He just went to work. We had just fought. I didn't even tell him goodbye. And then,
Have faith. Let faith protect you.
faith. You want me to have faith? My husband is stolen from me. And you tell me have faith. Faith in what? You? You did this. You took him from me.
One day, you will understand. You will learn.
No, I won't learn. I don't want this, and I don't want you. I just want it to end.
Please don't.
Then tell me why.
So one day, you'll understand. You'll understand that their horrible choice will make you stronger. That your choice to live will teach them to love. They will see how your faith and love saved you, and then
Teach them to love? Why should I teach my husband's murderers to love? He died, buried, and burnt. And for what? He died in fire and glass. So that they can love? Well, I will give them the opportunity. I will end this now. End myself.
now is the struggle for hope. If you end it now, there will be no hope. It will die. It will come crashing down, just like the towers did. Their deaths, all of their deaths, will be in vain.
So, what do I do?
You will fight, you will grieve, you will hope, you will pray, you will survive.
I did fight once. I fought back tears as my husband suffered through hours of chemotherapy. He smiled and held my hand. I grieved as well when we lost our son in a car accident. My husband held me while I wept. I prayed for hours for those less fortunate than us and those that were in pain. He held me close. I hoped for the future as we fell more deeply in love and watched our dreams come true. He held me close. Now I must survive, but who will hold me up?
I will.
Then I will survive.
On September 11th, 2001, nearly 3,000 people were killed. 400 were police officers and firefighters. 3 locations were affected: the NYC World Trade Center, the Pentagon in Washington, D.C., and a field in Shanksville, Pennsylvania.
I was there for money when it happened. My son had a soccer game, but I had a meeting. I entered the building thinking the most important thing in the world was to close the deal. When I entered the meeting, though, it happened. The building shook. I ran for my husband and son. I ran for my life.
They said we did this for Allah, but I did this for myself. I wanted my family to have the pride and honor of calling their father a hero. That is why I boarded the plane. That is why I took the captives. That is why I ended my life. But just as I did, I realized I was wrong.
On any given workday, up to 50,000 employees worked in the World Trade Center, and an additional 40,000 passed through the complex.
Before entering the building, I sat in my car. I wept knowing that a love had ended. I held my fist tight until my nails dug into my palms. And I cursed God. I cursed him because I couldn't understand why this would happen. Then I walked into the building. It was the last thing I'd ever do.
When he left on his mission, I sat silently. I couldn't move, but I felt as though my heart was on fire. I felt my faith shatter in an instant. I don't know what came over me, but I heard my voice. I called down every curse I could voice upon the God that stole my husband.
After the September 11th attacks on the World Trade Center, the rescue and recovery cleanup of the 1.8 million tons of wreckage took 9 months.
I had been to church, but I hadn't kept it holy. Shortly after church, I would have my first drink. It had become a habit of mine. It made excuses, saying that Jesus drank wine too, so why couldn't I? I didn't see how it was affecting my life. Ignoring my kids like to work. I was collecting my things from my desk when it happened.
Passengers aboard United Flight 93 heard about the previous airplane attacks and attempted to retake control of the plane from hijackers. As a result, the hijackers deliberately crashed the plane in a Pennsylvania field instead of their unknown target.
I had looked at the man in the airport. His dark skin, his wiry hair. When he came near me, I moved away. When he glanced at me, I broke eye contact. I even spoke to the security guard about it before boarding the plane. But in the air, he showed great courage. When none of us would stand up, he did. He tried to save us all.
I stood before a large crowd and I spoke to them. I spoke to them of the evil their nation had done to us. I spoke to them of the greed they showed. I did not do this for honor, religion, or family. I did this because I had power. I had power in which I did not wish to let go of.
Only 18 people were rescued alive from the rubble of the World Trade Center site.
We called them greedy because of what we did not have. We called them lawless because of our lack of control. We said they believed in a false God because of our weak faith. The truth? They had what we wanted. So we gave them our men's lives to try to obtain it. What we received instead was nothing but ash.
We wanted to save them. We wanted to tell them how to live. It cost us lives. It cost us security. It robbed us of our hope. It also brought us closer, gave us understanding. From the ashes, the phoenix rose.
It was once said that we should love our neighbors as ourselves.
When we look at what has happened and think about what we should do, we consider that statement.
Do we answer death and hate with more death and hate, or do we rise above like the phoenix?
Do we realize life is short and cling to the ones we love, or do we waste time burning with the fire of hate?
It is 12:52 p.m. here in London, England, and this just in. There have been unconfirmed reports this morning of a plane crashing into the World Trade Center in New York City.
We understand that
CNN
the plane
has
crash
just now worked on this story, trying to get hold of their sources to identify exactly what's happened.
We don't know if this is a commercial reports of the second plane hitting the second building. We don't know why, but it is obvious that this was not an accident. We don't know what kind of plane it was, whether it was commercial, private, we're not for sure.
Yes.
Clearly something devastating has happened this morning.
When the towers fell, I was teaching. We were told to turn on the TV. They said there had been an accident. I saw the smoke pouring out of the tower. As I watched, another plane entered the frame and the second collision occurred. This was no accident. This was a conscious act. There were reports of car bombs and other planes. There was confusion and chaos.
When the towers fell, I was just a child. I sat on the floor listening to my teacher read me a story. There was a knock on the door and she left. When she came back, tears were streaming from her eyes. She didn't stop to explain. Later, I saw other adults crying. I remember the news on the entire day.
I was in foreign lands when the towers fell. The desert wind was warm on my face. The TV had shown the news of the attack. I'd never felt more afraid than at that moment. It became real to me. I was no longer just a soldier. I was an enemy to the people I came to help. I felt the icy, cold grip of fear.
The day the Giants fell, I had stayed home from work. I I felt horror as I saw places of a place I should have been. I felt the piercing pain of losing my friends. I felt doubt and denial, and I asked myself what to do.
17 years later, I look back on that day. Then, I look into the eyes of my adopted son. He lost his parents that day. I found him in an adoption agency. He was broken and shattered. I offered him my hand and my home. I love him like he's my own because he is my own. He's given me a new way to look at things. He's given me hope.
I sit in a room with a man from a foreign land. We once called his people enemies, but much has changed since then. Our dreams of bringing our government to his people failed. However, I suggested a different tactic. We embraced their differences, and in turn, they embraced ours. And in those differences, we found similarities. I often think back to when I was a child and heard about the tragic event that rocked our country. I think we learned we were strong that day, and that strength gives us hope.
The desert wind still cools my face. We're in different foreign lands, but the goal is still the same. To make sure this never happens again. We've taken away a leader and given a new government to the people. Whether or not it will work is anybody's guess. I feel hostility and rage all around me, but I still reach out my hand to help.
I still feel the pain of loss from that day, but I realize I wasn't there for a reason. I now speak out against the oppression and hate that drives others towards this acts of violence. I try to live my life forgiving those who committed the act, but never forgetting the day the giants fell.